Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Discover a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
Hi, this is Rob Benedict.
And I am Richard Spate. We were both on a little show you might know called Supernatural.
It had a pretty good run, 15 seasons, 327 episodes.
And though we have seen, of course, every episode many times, we figured, hey, now that we're wrapped, let's watch it all again.
And we can't do that alone, so we're inviting the cast and crew that made the show along for the ride. We've got writers, producers, composers, directors, and we'll of course have some actors on as well, including some certain guys that played some certain pretty iconic brothers.
It was kind of a little bit of a left field choice in the best way possible.
The note from Kripke was, he's great, we love him, but we're looking for like a really intelligent Duchovny type.
With 15 seasons to explore, it's going to be the road trip of several lifetimes. So please join us and subscribe to Supernatural Then and Now.
Welcome to But Am I Wrong? A podcast where we tell you when you're wrong because we've never been wrong. I feel like that's a pretty accurate way to describe the podcast. You might think, that feels abrasive. So?
Call me a scrub daddy when it's cold.
I was about to fucking say that exact same thing.
If you'd like to participate in this show, there's a couple ways you can participate. You can be just like a bystander where you're like, I have opinions, but I don't need to be that hard. Then you can just vote when we put the votes up sometime after Friday. Or, you know, I really like when people vote and then they explain why they made their vote, because I like to hear other people's opinions. Or you can, you know, this is bread and butter of the show, which, you know, please write in and share if you were wrong in a situation.
Yeah, if you're questioning that, you're like, I'm on the precipice. Like, I don't feel like I'm the villain, but maybe I am the villain. And it is our duty to tell you. We've been given that gift of talking and opinion. We're very good at that.
We're women with microphones.
And we're toxic. We're pretty non-toxic.
GMO free.
You should join our Patreon because something just happened.
Something has happened. I think we should tease it on Patreon too.
Yeah. So if you're on Patreon, maybe can we like add it to just the description of the Patreon? Mm-hmm. You got a little visual something, and then you're going to get a deeper hint tease in the description of this. So you should join our Patreon. And it's not $100. It's not even $50. It's not even
10.
No. You can spend anywhere from $1 to, I mean, the limit does not exist. Like if you're rolling in cash and you're just like looking for ways to spend it, if you're looking to support women in STEM, we're here.
This is technology, so it is STEM.
Melissa, you know how badly I want to be a woman in STEM. That's amazing. I am a woman in STEM, and I was gardening this week. I am a woman with STEM.
Yes, you are.
So yeah, as women in STEM, it's what we're here for. So submitting them.
Yep. You write you a little email, 300 words or less.
Little ditty.
And, you know, present it to us.
Present your case to the jury.
And you send it to butamiwrongpod@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm. We do ask that you include ages if the whole thing's anonymous. So if you're going to name other people, we do ask that you give like full fake names. And if you're going to do pop culture references, so not required. You do not have to do that. But if you're going to do it, actually make it make sense. So if you're like, oh, this is about me and my lover, I'm going to go by Beyonce and my lover will go by Solange. I'm like,
disgusting.
No,
That they are sisters.
Exactly. And then I go, why are you fucking your sister?
Yeah.
And you're like, I didn't say I was fucking my sister. I go, but then you didn't not say you weren't.
Right.
So that's the only thing we'll request here.
So make it Jay-Z, I guess, if that's what you want.
But then again, I'm still going to preconceived notions.
Yeah.
Depending on what it's about.
Exactly.
You know? If you're like, I'm going to call myself Solange in this, and I'm going to call my brother-in-law Jay-Z, and I'm going, why'd you hit him in the elevator?
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, well, that's not what the call, like, that's not what this was about. And I go, well we're waiting. I would like to know. So we told you how you can submit. That is only for one segment of the show. We have 3 different segments. First one, we'll get into like the specifics of each one before, but just know that this is where we share our own things. You share with us, and then collectively we decide who we should all throw tomatoes at for the week or the month, the time being. Ethical gossip. So gossip you can feel good about, and shit talking you can feel good about.
Yes. And sometimes we also just talk about actually shitting.
Yeah.
Well, should we get into But Am I Wrong?
I think that's a great idea. And to explain that segment, this is where we each present our case to each other of something either happening in our own life where we're like, hey, did I fuck up? Am I the villain in this? Or it could be a hot take, something we would like to propose, or just a rant, something that we are very confident in our thoughts. We don't even want to acknowledge that it could be a hot take because we do not subscribe to the notion, even if it is considered a hot take, something we're incredibly impassioned by, and we need to share it with the class.
You're up first.
Let's see what I wrote down. Oh, I forgot what I wrote down. This is funny. So I don't know if I can classify this as a hot take because I think in certain circles, it would be a hot take. And then in other ones, not so much. Within the acting circle, with a lot of actors, it would be considered a hot take if those actors were men.
What about if it's somebody who retired from acting when they were 22 years old?
What did you act in at 22 years old?
I've acted in quite a few things. I was a star of the Arkansas Kids for Health videos where I played a plethora of different characters.
With like ailments?
I played a potato in one when I was teaching people about vegetables.
I fucking thought that was going.
I played
a kid with polio.
No.
Like
I played a professor. I played scientists. I had different.
Versatile.
Yes. And so I was kind of like the spokesperson for Arkansas Kids for Health that they showed all across Arkansas in elementary schools. And I would get noticed by children.
Wow.
So if I would have stayed down this path, think about everything we could have accomplished.
We could have been.
We could still be.
We could still do it. Yeah. What's fucking stopping us?
Right.
Even as someone who retired at 20, you will agree with me because the real crucial thing is that you are a woman.
Yeah, I am.
Yep. So this is my hot take. Method acting is for bad actors. Method acting is for bad actors. I'm so impassioned about this, and I can't even explain to you how much. So here's where I will get farther into this part is not a hot take. This is just a fact because anyone who disputes this is you don't support women. Method acting is an excuse for men to be abusive and call it their workday and get paid for it. And there's a reason why you don't see women who are method actors. Mm-hmm. And it's not for the patriarchy in the way you think that men are allowed to be, they're allowed to kind of dive into that. And women are too, they are not allowed to be too emotional. They have to, they have to do it all. They have to be able to bounce back. They still have to be pleasant and nice to be around, all of that. Sure. But it's because it's not having the desire to absolutely torture and abuse the people that you're around. The environment doesn't support women doing that because nobody should support anyone being abusive. It's not any of the fluffy stuff off the top because it's the idea that that's the issue. No, the issue with the patriarchy in this is that men want to be abusive and then get to be abusive for their job. So I hate this. And if anyone has you can think of lots of famous actors who
are your top 2?
Jared Leto, enemy of the show. big fat fucking enemy of the show. If anyone's read about him in his Suicide Squad.
Yes, everybody hated him.
Everyone hates. So it does not help your performance at all. It truly does not help your performance. And if a director allows an actor to go method, that is your indicator that the director does not think that you are very good. That you have to immerse yourself in this. And that that's the only way to do it. And this whole thing of like, this is like so important. And like, this is like so like, we have to like respect this and all of this shit. You will see the people who have like considered like that they go method. They don't work that much. And it's not because they aren't, you know, maybe that they aren't that famous and all that. They're not nice people to work with. Like nobody enjoys that. Like Jared Leto was like literally like sending like dead fucking animals to castmates and torturing them with that. And it's just like, haha, funny, like whatever. No. Men will do anything except go to therapy. They will act the role of a serial killer, do everything up until like murdering people, and then be like, oh my God, like, wow, this is a lot. And it goes, go to therapy, you fucking loser.
Right.
Drives me fucking crazy. And this all stemmed because I saw on a Reddit post that this person was talking about their partner, and I think it might have been in like the LA, I don't remember what subreddit was in, but their partner was in a play and they have asthma, and they were coming home from rehearsals, and they're not in full-time actor. Like this is a community theater production. Like it's a passion they would love to do, but this is not their full-time gig. And he was coming home from rehearsals smelling like cigarettes, and she was like, are you smoking? Like, what's going, like really bad asthma. I was like, what's like, oh, no. The play that we're in, people are smoking through most of the play, and the director wanted it to be real. So everyone's just like smoking like cigarettes.
What?
And the amount of people, I think it might have even been, am I the asshole? The amount of people who were like, everyone was anti her and was just like, it's acting, like, you know, all this. And I go, no. If you're a director and you need your actors to smoke legitimate cigarettes in a theater, which theaters are old. All of them are fucking old. They have so much fucking cloth and upholstery that holds on to smells, and they're not well ventilated because they need the acoustics.
But also, like
fire
code, like that's you're not supposed
it's illegal
to do that.
Like,
yes,
it's not allowed in most places. And the entire comments were all like ripping them apart, being like, "Oh my God, no, like this is acting. Like you'll literally be fine." I go, "Well, no, it's only going to be for like a part of it. Like you'll be so far away." The idea of method acting as being this like renowned, regaled thing, whether it's directors who want their actors to like live in it, you're not a good director.
That's what I was about to say.
Or you're an actor and you're like, no, I have to live in this, because it's not just about you. Then you need everybody else to play into your fucking shit. Mm-hmm. You're just then controlling, and you're also then not a good actor.
Right.
Being a professional actor is 90% spent on set, not recording, not filming. And the product that you make at the end of the day is a small part of what your entire workday was. And to torment the people that you are working with, to torment yourself, to like literally cause yourself to be in this like horrific spiral, to like feel so shitty and all of that, like you're going to be a miserable coworker for the sake of art?
I don't even think it's for the sake of art. I feel like it's so that they can be who they truly are without.
As a podcast network, our first priority has always been audio and the stories we're able to share with you. But at Realm, we also sell some pretty cool merch, and organizing that was made both possible and easy with Shopify. When you think about successful businesses like Aloe or Allbirds or Skims, an often overlooked secret is the business behind the business that makes selling and, for shoppers, buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. That's because nobody does selling better than Shopify. It's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret that's definitely worth talking about is that Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%. That's more happy customers and way more sales going. If you're hoping to grow your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm.
Consequences.
I think it's they can be abusive and be awful because they have, while being praised for it, which is truly that's really what people want to be abusive and they want to be praised for being abusive. Or it's a self-loathing and I want to punish myself because I don't want to go to therapy.
Yeah.
And I want to treat myself super fucking poorly. And I'm either wounded or I want to wound other people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's infuriating. And there's another actor, which I will not talk shit on this show because it is so big. And I think it's a really well done show. But I really love to see older actors who've been in the business for a very long time.
I'll talk about it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I love to see older actors who've been in the business for a very long time publicly call out, specifically men calling out other men for method acting and not being a good person, a nice person to work with, and a good cast member and a good coworker, and making everybody else's jobs harder because actors don't have a lot of control most of their career.
Yeah.
But once you get to a certain level in your career, you don't have control over like producers. You don't have control over directors, and the term is usually above the line people, but like you can be awful to like a props coordinator or something, and then you can get them fired and then they don't have a job. Like if you're going to make other people's jobs and lives miserable, you're ruining people's dreams. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. For those who don't know, she may or may not be referring to Succession. And the dude that plays Kendall, I don't know what his real name is, but Brian Cox, who plays his father, has called him an asshole on numerous occasions and says that it's just not good acting if he has to do this, which is very true to Brian's character on Succession. But also, if you watch like Brian in interviews and stuff, he's very much not that character. But he is, if you want to be entertained, especially if you dislike Kendall, I mean, the character could be the actor too, whatever your choice is, same person. Read the interviews because they're very hilarious. Like if you want a good hee hee ha ha, I strongly recommend it. If you smoke weed,
don't smoke weed before you read them because they're a trip. They're like, it's a lot. Like, it's like,
yes,
whoa, okay, holding on to my seat. And my final point of all of this is the real proof in all of this to me that method acting is bad acting, but more than that is an excuse to be abusive, is nobody method acts for positive and happy people.
Yeah.
You don't go for like, oh, I'm going to method act and be a really kind, lovely person.
Someone just dropped that they do it.
I'm watching her sift through the files in her brain to figure out who it is.
Tom Hanks. He said that he pretends to be nice because he wanted everybody to think he was a good person. But he said there were days when he was cranky and he just put it on.
Oh, no, totally. But it's not like...
but it's not like a mean thing.
No, it's not
but like in the way that we
when I'm playing it's when I'm playing Mr. Like when I'm literally like a piece of shit and then I'm playing Mr. Rogers and I'm like, I'm method acting. I'm incredibly nice.
Yes.
Like no one does that. Like you only do it when it's like, ooh, I can kill animals and treat women like absolute shit. Like sign me the fuck up.
Yeah.
It's a tough one.
Yeah.
It's a tough one.
All right. Well, here's my but am I wrong for this week.
Oh, I'm ready. Why are you looking at me like that?
Why were you looking at me that way?
I don't look at you anymore.
Okay, so we have AI that can make our dead relatives talk.
Hard pass.
We have cars that can drive themselves.
Hard pass.
We also have robots that can deliver our food.
Love it.
Well, I am very upset with how we have all these advancements. And, you know, we even got those robot animals that run around and now they can hammer shit that, like, I think it's MIT that have been doing those things. I've progressively watched them advance over the last 20 years and now they can hammer stuff.
I'm not thinking of like the commercials with the dog with the little blue ears.
No.
They can, I'm sorry. If they can hammer stuff, they can hammer my brain.
Yes.
I hope everybody's being nice to technology.
Anyway, I'll look it up later so you can see. Maybe it's not MIT. But why is it that when I order French fries from a restaurant, they're still arriving to my fucking door soggy? Why is there not a container that is properly ventilated? Also, why are we still putting fries in paper bags? Why, with all these advancements in the world, there's not just like a proper container for French fries to be delivered? If it can be delivered in a robot, why is this robot not ventilated for fries?
Why haven't we put an air fryer on wheels?
That you would think.
Because
that Austin could be an air fryer on wheels.
As you're describing this, because when you put them in bags or you put them in even cardboard boxes, you're trapping steam in there.
Yes.
So then you're steaming them.
You are steaming them. So we need something that's sucking the moisture out. So I like this. My rant is very short. This is all really that I have to say about this. But can someone please give us French fries that are delivered to my door, crispy still? That's all.
I think someone invented dry ice.
Yes.
And I feel like this should be in their wheelhouse for the opposite direction.
With all the things that I just named.
A 3D printer? We can do.
Right.
Yeah. And after they do that, I think they should work on printers, but like not the 3D ones. Yeah, no, this is a tale as old as time.
This is a problem that no one has solved yet.
And, I would think that the same mechanism could be used to transport hard shell tacos as well.
Yes. I mean, over the pandemic, we had so many. You think about before the pandemic when we had things delivered, they were not taped. Do you remember that? When the pandemic
so many
hit.
Things that I realized that I was like, I was just.
Yeah,
blowing out candles on a cake. I go,
I never allowed that.
I know. You were ahead of the curve as always. And I was like, we were disgusting.
Yeah, but like before the pandemic,
I don't like thinking about that.
We were just getting food delivered, open, no protection, raw dog. Our drinks would just like have the straw in it, open, people touching. You don't know if people like sucked on your straw before. And then during the pandemic, they were like, let's put tape on these things, seal it up. We've got better to-go containers for cups, but no one in the 3 years where we were locked in the house and everybody was getting food delivered was like, we need to fix this problem with soggy fries.
That it's a travesty, and you're right, and you should say it. And you know what I will say, that so far, you know who actually might be the champions at this, because they are the best delivered fries ever, because they are some of the best fries ever. Not Palm Springs, obviously. Nothing can compare to that. IHOP fries. IHOP.
When did you have IHOP
Melisa, delivered? First of all, I've been to VidCon so many times.
I thought you meant like recently.
No, I also used to live near an IHOP, but no, I've had IHOP delivered like that. IHOP French fries, like IHOP is open so fucking late, and for some reason, IHOP makes a great French fry. And of all the places I've had fries delivered from, it's because they start them crispier. And I think it's some, I don't know, but they're not there. You're not eating the same fries you're eating at the table. And also those thick ceramic plates and the glass bottle ketchup. It does something, changes things, but they're better than most. So I think one of these fucking MIT, one of your young bright minds, head on over to IHOP, collaborate, and give us what we deserve.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a sad time.
It is. And the government hasn't given everybody an air fryer. So that's like the only saving grace is afterwards, reheating. But how annoying is it when you're like, my food's finally here. Now let me heat it. And goes, if I wanted to wait to heat something up, I would have just made my own food.
Exactly. So someone fix this.
And why haven't they yet? What's the bigger question?
Big French fries.
Big fry.
Air fryers kind of really popped off during the pandemic. What if it was because everyone was getting their fries delivered and they were having to put them in the air fryer? It's a question.
That's not because they did pop off in a way that we got to a point where people are just putting like pieces of plastic, like let me put an eraser in my air fryer. And I'm like, I missed a few steps.
Yes.
Maybe I started with fries and we just got less and less logical.
Yeah.
Huh.
Something to make you think. All right, we're going to take a little break. And when we come back, prepare yourselves for But Are You Wrong? We're back from our break, and now it's time for But Are You Wrong? And that's when y'all write in and share your thoughts and feelings. You're up.
Hi, Eminem. My boyfriend, 27, he, him, and I, 26, she, her, have been together for 3 years, living together for 1. He's wonderful, supportive, intelligent, hilarious, hot, and so sweet. I love him. We're waiting for the but. You didn't even do but. You just went into it. He's messy, and I'm more...
Hi, I'm Jennifer, a co-founder of the Go Kid Go network. At Go Kid Go, putting kids first is at the heart of every show that we produce. That's why we're so excited to introduce a brand new show to our network called The Search for the Silver Lining, a fantasy adventure series about a spirited young girl named Isla who time travels to the mythical land of Camelot. During her journey, Isla meets new friends, including King Arthur and his Knights of the Round Table, and learns valuable life lessons with every quest, sword fight, and dragon ride. Positive and uplifting stories remind us all about the importance of kindness, friendship, honesty, and positivity. Join me and an all-star cast of actors including Liam Neeson, Emily Blunt, Kristen Bell, Chris Hemsworth, among many others, in welcoming the Search for the Silver Lining podcast to the Go Kid Go network by listening today. Look for the Search for the Silver Lining on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Clean, and it's causing some resentment. We talk about it openly, and I've brought up several times it's frustrating to have to ask for him to clean/do something, do it myself, or I know that it won't get done. Like if we were just out of dish soap, I know for a fact that he wouldn't take initiative to buy more unless I asked. Most of the time, I just do/clean things myself because it's so annoying to tell him, remind him, or explain to him how to vacuum the carpet, clean the bathroom counter, or feed the cat. When I bring it up, he asks for examples, and everything I bring up feels insignificant. He also says, quote unquote, those things aren't noticeable, or it doesn't bother me to have a messy house. It really bothers me. I have ADHD, and my environment really impacts my ability to focus and emotionally regulate, and I'm open about this. I try compromising, and I don't expect it to be perfectly clean by any means, and I'm okay with taking a larger share of the chores to maintain my mental health. But am I wrong to expect him to learn how to notice when things need attention around the house and take initiative? Sometimes it baffles me that he thinks I'm just naturally better at cleaning and more attentive to messes, when really I learned from my mom, who took care of everything for my family, and my dad who didn't lift a finger unless asked. And it makes me scared I'll resent my boyfriend one day. You're not wrong at all.
Didn't you do a but am I wrong?
No, I did.
That was exactly like this.
And someone was like mad, and they were like, you literally like something about
talking shit about mods or something.
Yeah. Shit. And I'm like, this is not, if you think that I would get on the podcast and say anything about my personal life involving him that I have not talked to him before about, like, hell no. But I guess some people, so like couples do that. Like they use it as a means of communication, which is not me. You're not wrong at all. And there are some things here that I think that make this like truly weaponized incompetence. So this is not only like weaponized incompetence, it's your partner, like you being like, this is weaponized incompetence, and him going, yes, it is. Like, and
like, you do it.
Yeah. And so it's just like, this is like really like not knowing how to feed a cat. Like
that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Without a doubt. Like there are certain things that it's like, yes, some people are more comfortable living in mess than other people. And that's not, I don't disagree with him on that. And there are certain things that you might enjoy and want to clean more than others, but nobody is cleaning solely because it's giving them serotonin. Do you know what I mean? Like you can enjoy cleaning, you could like cleaning, but this is what I'm saying. If you were cleaning and the result of cleaning is making a total mess, no, it's effective. Like it's sufficient for your day. It can make things a lot easier and like organizing. Like I don't think cleaning is not morally, doesn't hold any moral value, but people are cleaning because it's a visual task that's start to finish. You can like sometimes turn your brain off, but you can see. Like I think like tasks that show visual completion, those tend to be things that you have instant or gratification from because you're building towards a goal. So for all of this to say for him, some men who use weaponizing competence and like idiots like this, like truly think, oh, you like cleaning. I don't like cleaning. So you can just clean because you like things being clean. So therefore you like cleaning. I don't like cleaning, so I'm just not going to clean.
Or I don't do it as good as you, and I'm just going to make you mad if I do it. So, you know, I'm not going to learn how to do it better. You can just keep doing it. So then you'll be satisfied.
Yeah, he's making this so he's like, oh, I would live in complete and total filth. And it goes, but you wouldn't. If you were single, if you were inviting someone over who you're trying to sleep with, and you would leave your entire place a complete, you wouldn't. Like, it's just for the fact, like, you truly would not do that. So none of this should feel insignificant. Like, these are really frustrating. So if he says those things aren't noticeable, it doesn't bother me to have a messy house. This would be, you have, I would give like an ultimatum. Like, you have to research and learn how to do, if you need to watch a YouTube video to learn how to clean something, if you need to like do this, and this and do that, like you've got a week. And otherwise, I'm taking your credit card and I'm signing us up for a weekly cleaning service that you're paying for.
I was going to say, the time that you use that you would be cleaning, go get another job that, you know, like a little part-time job. So then you can pay for it.
Yeah. Like if he doesn't want to pull his weight, then he has to pay for his weight to be pulled. And
it shouldn't take away from your other finances, you know?
No, it's just from him. Because you're putting time in, then he can put money in.
Mm-hmm.
That's the trade-off. Like, there's no other way of that. And he has no desire to learn. And you're not, the whole thing of like women being naturally better at it.
It's not true.
No, and it's not natural because it's what you're saying. Like, your mom had to clean up after your dad. And so you learned from your mom because women were put in this position. And that's not an instinct. That is a nature. That is a circumstance. And you will resent him, and it will end up the same way. And I think anyone fighting back on this is like infuriating, because I think that there's like, men can be a passive victim of the patriarchy, like not even noticing that they're participating in it because that's the patriarchy. It benefits them. And they go, I didn't even realize I'm just floating. Like, this was just so easy. And it's the response, the reaction should be, wow, I'm so embarrassed. I'm going to do better. And there should be a conscious effort and a visible effort put in. And that effort very quickly should turn into success.
Yeah.
There's not a very large learning curve there. Like, you can fuck something. Like, I've fucked things up where I'm like, oh shit, I use this cleaning thing on that I shouldn't. I've kind of like tarnished this or whatever. But you make a mistake, you learn, and you keep going forward. But yeah, I would probably reflect on what the rest of your dynamics are like about cooking and other quote unquote domestic tasks.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're wanting to have children or, you already have a cat, or any more pets.
Feeding the cat, like, I can't get over that. You're either just putting some dry food in a container or opening a can and putting a few things in.
Yeah.
That's not hard.
And it freaks me out because the two things that I think it sets the precursor for is, if the cat dies while you're not here, that's on you. Mm-hmm. Or you can never leave, and you can never trust that anything living, like dead or alive, whether it's plants, animals, your possessions, are safe here and secure here while you're gone. So you're trapped.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like not it.
So in conclusion, you are not wrong.
You're not wrong at all. And I resent your boyfriend already.
All right, next one. Content warning for gun use. Hey, Meghan and Melisa. My 28 female sister, Ari, 37 female, has had a strained relationship with our brother, Brady, 40 male, for the past year after he disowned her son, Arthur, 15 male. Last summer, Arthur got into some trouble with the law after he was found with a gun on him on 2 separate occasions. He was arrested and spent some time in a detention center, but has been on the mend after receiving 1-year probation from the courts. Brady, when he was a teenager, was part of a dangerous gang in town and had made far worse decisions, but was able to turn his life around after becoming a father. Brady has now made several comments about Arthur not being allowed around his daughter, 16 female and Arthur's bestie, and refuses to help guide him. Knowing this, I have kept my relationship with my brother at arm's length as I feel he is being a complete asshat. Brady and I have never been close as where my sister is my best friend. Ari is upset with me, though, about still having contact with Brady, but refuses to acknowledge that she still talks to Kate, 38 female, one of my dad's kids who shut me out. Ari was there to witness all the trauma I endured after losing not only my dad, but his side of the family too. She's seen me go from being a confident grown woman to a scared child hiding behind racks, all because Kate or one of the others was passing by. I have tried to explain to Ari how it's hypocritical for her to expect me to cut someone out of my life for her sake when she wouldn't do the same for me. So am I wrong for keeping contact with Brady given the circumstances? I mean, given the circumstances that it's hypocritical, then no.
No, but I think you're trying to use as teacher sister like a lesson, because it doesn't seem like you want to have a relationship with Brady, and like the way that you're describing it to me is that this is an opportunity to show your sister that like this hurts you. I would like you, because it sounds like you want her to cut Kate off, and if she did that, you'd be happy cutting Brady off.
I didn't read it like that, but like if you and this is actually kind of similar to what we have in Don't Blame Me earlier this week.
Yeah,
but if you should have a conversation with Ari about like a serious conversation of like, you know, if y'all want to maintain these outside relationships with siblings, then you just have to keep those parts of your life separate. Like, don't talk about them together. Don't try to have family events where y'all all are together. Like, you just have to keep them separate. If Kate wasn't a factor, then I would be like, yeah, you're wrong. But since it is a factor and this is what y'all's life is, then just keeping them separate. And I don't think that anybody is wrong.
I do think, though, the reverse of it is she could then call you hypocritical of like, well, you want me to cut Kate off, but you still have contact with.
That's what I'm saying. You're both hypocrites.
So I think in this instance, like for me, if I were in your shoes, sometimes like, yeah, if an opportunity presents itself, you go, wow, I can now be petty essentially and like show this person like, look how much it sucks now. But there's also the other side of like, yeah, I can be like, yeah, no, they clearly have hurt you and I don't align with that. So like I'm cutting them off. And that I'm not one who's always like lead by example in that kind of way. But if the goal is to like teach her a lesson to show that she's being hypocritical, I think participating in the game by also being like hypocritical, then neither of you really have strong footing. Like
you can't say anything to the
it cancels
other.
it
so,
out.
Like,
so I
just don't talk about it.
Yeah. So I think like you said you're not really close. You're keeping him at arm's length, and like she's your best friend. So I think the issue is that she's friends with and is still close with, talks to Kate. Like I think that's the issue. But once you bring Brady in there, then you suddenly have a tit for tat thing.
Right.
And neither of you are probably going to budge. And I don't think you'll actually get what you want, which is your sister to understand how much that hurts you. So I think cutting out Brady is an act of goodwill. Doesn't seem like it's hard for you at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This isn't an advice show.
No.
But those are just thoughts.
Maybe what this has taught me is in most situations when there's like, it's hypocritical, both people end up. If you like stand your ground in something where it's like, oh, you're being hypocritical about this. And it's like, well, if both people dig their heels and then you're both technically.
Yeah.
And then you lose all argument.
Exactly.
I never thought about that.
In this situation, I think both of you are wrong, but.
With something like 5 million podcasts, finding a really good one can take a ton of time. So let me recommend one. It's called Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and in each episode, we discuss topics that can be really helpful, like how to read people better, the psychology of crowds, Or fun things like the story of Legos, or why you probably wouldn't be here if it weren't for horses. Something You Should Know is the name of it, wherever you get your podcasts.
Since both of you are wrong, then that makes you not wrong. So
neither of you are right.
Yeah.
That's true.
Anyway, we're going to take another break. Now we're back from our break, and it's time for But Are They Wrong? And that's when we pick someone from popular culture.
Yep.
Or unpopular culture, or just some random small town, and we nominate them as the worst of the week, or as we like to call it, and for some reason people have picked up on it, Rachel of the Week.
So I had two options. Actually, I was pretty confident with the one that I was choosing, and then last night my timeline was violently attacked by a video from, I think her username is CultureWorks. She's great. You'd love her. If she's not an Aquarius, I'll be shocked. She's either an Aquarius or a Capricorn. Yes, CultureWork. So she did this video. So I'm going to just give a quick little shout out, just a nod to someone being a fucking asshat, is the LA Dodgers. And the LA Dodgers, this conservative, this real conservative, faux legitimate organization of Christians that they're a quote unquote Catholic organization. They're like a club. Like they're not. This is not like a government agency. Like this is not a thing. This is like some buddies with a Twitter account. They have bullied the LA Dodgers into dropping charity drag group from Pride Night, and Dodgers are having a Pride Night, and they've decided that the Sisters of Perpetual Intelligence, which is a community nonprofit who have done Catholic inspired, nun stuff, and they talk a lot about deconverting from religions and, religious trauma, which is heavily ingrained in the LGBTQI community. They have removed them from participating in this because they're listening to the conservative bigots who have said that it's mean to Catholics.
In LA?
In LA.
Do these people contribute a lot to the Booster Club?
No. And also, it's Pride Night.
Right.
And they're cosplaying as Catholic. They're appropriating our culture. It's laughable. And Senator Mark Rubio was the one who was really championing behind it.
He doesn't live here.
Because he hates gay people and found a way that he could make it about pseudo-religion. So yeah, they had uninvited them, and this is from Mark Harris NYC on Twitter. The Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence was founded in 1979. One was on Newsweek's first AIDS cover. They're major activists in the first year of crisis. They are sewn into the AIDS quilt. This is just pathetic, that is the response to this. Like, they've literally been a huge
part of the LA culture for a long time.
Yeah, and groundbreaking in championing safety in health access for people who with HIV and AIDS. And this is LA. This is a literal event for Pride. And then we're censoring that for a group of people who are unhappy with the entirety of it. Why are you talking? Why are we catering to our haters? Do you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Then just fucking cancel the whole thing at that point. What? So they're the Catholic League who says this, and they're literally not real people. And their Twitter account on the 17th of January of this year said Pete Buttigieg should call Chasten his partner, not his husband. The two of them may not like it, but the truth is not determined by what is popular. It is determined by what makes sense according to nature and nature's God. Why are we Are we just listening to homophobe, of how we should do Pride? The fuck? So that's my little one. But then I was visually accosted by this story, which I'm not going to say that it's her fault at all, because she did give a trigger warning on the video and said, this is super fucked up, which enticed me. And I kept watching.
Of course.
And she said, this again, culture work on TikTok, the opening line, I need everybody in Los Angeles to sit down for a second right now. And I said, ma'am, I'm sitting.
Were you sitting, and were you sat, or were you lying down?
I was reclined. My head was not at the same level as my chest, like as my heart. Like, you know, my legs were up. My body was reclined. I was like, I am not scrolling. You've got me in. She then goes on to talk about a Twitter thread that, no joke, moments prior, I had just been on Twitter, saw the thread and went, oh, that seems like a whole thing I don't want to open and read. I'll look into that later. And she just starts opening it and go, well, boy, oh boy, am I glad that imagine I skipped by it. I didn't see this TikTok. I would have missed all of this.
Do you need to give a content warning?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm about to give the content warning. The content warning is bestiality and unaliving kittens.
Okay.
So I would like to nominate the restaurant Horses. Horses is a restaurant in LA, and it's co-owned by two chefs, former husband and wife, Elizabeth Johnson. Okay, they were husband and wife up until very recently. They're filing for divorce. So when this restaurant was operating, which is up until very recently, a husband and wife, a duo. And then her husband, Will, and his last name is Aghajaanian. And she's filing for divorce and has accused her husband of killing multiple family cats. So she filed a request for a domestic violence restraining order in November of last year, and it was granted in December and has been extended. And according to the LA Times, she alleges that Will and I have had cats that mysteriously ended up dying, including one in 2017, who I took to a shelter when she became seriously wounded overnight. The shelter informed her that the cat had been seriously abused, but her husband denied any involvement, and then she believed him up until there was another incident with a new kitten that was put in their care. And according to this Twitter thread, they had like, they used the term like, they had an open door policy for stray cats. And I go, I did not. Open door policy. To me, I'm thinking our marriage is open to other humans. But it was like, oh, we love rescuing cats. And so it's a given that like, we're just, anytime there's a stray cat or a kitten, like we're taking them in. So that's important because it's been alleged that there's been more than dozens of cats that they've had over the years. Some have even speculated like 50 plus. With the new kitten, there was another incident that she was like, oh shit, actually maybe you have something to do with this. So she alleges that he threatened to feed a cat to coyotes and then walked in like and witnessed him violently shaking one of the cats at night. And the kitten ended up dying the next day. And then she said, Will put the dead cat in the trash and insisted on keeping the corpse in the house. And again, this is on like divorce shit. Like this isn't like her going to a paper to talk shit. Like this is, I'm trying to get my fucking money and get my permanent restraining order against him and have people know that this is through the courts. So she also alleges that he physically abused her, saying that in 2019, he dragged her across the floor by her legs. And then he threw on his own restraining order to her, saying that she threatened to kill him repeatedly, burned him with a metal spatula, and then has asked for custody of some of their like animals back, but not all of them. And then he alleges that she falsely accuses me of things that she has done or has threatened to do to me and my pets. My pets are like children to me, and I love them dearly. So that's what the story is being reported in the LA Times and in all of the other articles, because for the most part on those specific publications, they're not going to report things that are been completely unfounded without sources who might not be revealing themselves to the public, but will be revealing themselves and their reason why they know these things and their connections to the journalist. But you can go to Twitter for when the streets are, people are gossiping and talking. It's a small town. So according to Twitter user Nike PS5, the story gets a whole lot weirder, and the tweets are fucked. And again, they're all allegations. They're anonymous. So from that account I just said, these are screenshots of a text message that he's posted. So Liz, the chef, was with this dude, Will, that was the co-chef at Horses when it opened till the top of this year. Apparently, they had an open door policy about adopting stray cats at home. And mysteriously, like half a dozen of them have died over the span of a year or so. Apparently, Liz was already feeling increasingly freaked out and thinking something was up. This is the really disturbing part. So if anyone, feel free to skip 10 seconds. She comes home a few months ago and Will is, and this is their words, Will is beating his meat while strangling a kitten. And this is all before the LA Times story comes out. This is what is being first. And so people are tweeting. Someone tweeted, horses really closing, or Lauren Sherman tweeted, if horses is really closing, I might have to move my family and our entire life back to New York. And then Foster Kramer replied on Twitter, oh, I assure you, when the story comes out, you're going to want to move your family to like the woods. And that was prior to the LA Times story coming out.
Does that person say what their relationship is to them, or do they access the court documents before it hit public record?
Editor-in-chief at Futurism, Best American Food Writing 2021, bylines for New York Times. Like they're a writer. So that to me is sources. Mm-hmm. And then another screenshot saying this from another source. Apparently the husband and wife who own it are divorcing because he cheated on her with a bunch of sex workers and gave his wife a ton of STDs. And the cat story is more or less a part of the story. And that the last straw was her walking on the cat walking in on him with the cat, and all of the investors are dropping out. And someone said, Elle said, I mentioned the story with some random friends of colleagues at drinks tonight, and they all apparently know the wife, and then they're claiming that it's a lie that she's making up to regain ownership. And then someone else is claiming that they are both cat killers with screenshots of alleged text messages between them, but that's who fucking knows,
right?
So saying, I'm hungry. Sorry, I can't talk now. Should I get in and out in service? I leave early tonight. Last table 7. Sure. If I get famous, will anyone ever find out about pancakes or the cats? No, love you. Which is like saying that Liz is the one saying, will anyone find out about the cats? And then another one alleging that it's her saying, what apron should I get? And whatever you want. I will kill Poncho, the cat. And you will eat Poncho oil pills. This is horrific. And now that I've watched one TikTok, my entire TikTok is this.
Well, you got to do the thing not interested, unless you are interested.
Well, the amount of people who are trying to get like I saw TikTok people going, when you're standing outside because you have reservations at Horses for dinner tonight, and you're like, I'm going to go home now. Mm. Yeah. So who knows if any of it's true, all of it's true, some of it's true, but wow. If this is all fake, maybe James Corden is behind this. So then the biggest restaurant drama of late is not him sending back his wife's omelet, which
I forgot about that.
Melissa, I will never forget about that because she got an egg yolk only omelet. And the fact that you would even be able to chew that and swallow that.
Who does that?
Melissa, I don't know.
All right. That is horrific and I don't like it. So for mine, I'm nominating Trevor Jacob, 29-year-old former Olympian who had 140,000 subscribers on YouTube. He recently pled guilty to a felony charge after he purposely crashed an airplane for views. So he had been under investigation for staging a plane crash in December 2021. And this past Thursday, the Justice Department announced that a plea agreement was filed with the U.S. District Court in L.A. And in the video that he titled, I Crashed My Plane, Jacob had been seen diving out of a civilian aircraft and popping his parachute. He claims the video...
Why not pop your pussy? Sorry.
Popping the parachute. He claims in the video that the airplane malfunctioned while it was flying over the Los Padres National Forest in California. The video is still on YouTube and it has 4.1 million views on it. And it was like met with skepticism that it was staged. And the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration agreed that it seemed odd that Jacob was wearing a parachute at the time of the crash. And furthermore, according to the FAA's letter, authorities took note that Jacob didn't make an attempt to contact air traffic control and also didn't attempt to restart the plane's engine. It was also perceived that Jacob could have safely glided to numerous landing spots around the area, but the FAA says Jacob didn't attempt to do so. After the crash, Jacob, quote unquote, recovered and then disposed of the wreckage. According to the FAA, and Jacob has admitted that he lied about that. In the weeks following the crash, Jacob lied to investigators and said that he did not know the wreckage's location. According to the plea agreement, the DOJ says, in fact, on December 10th, 2021, Jacob and a friend flew by helicopter to the wreckage site, and Jacob used straps to secure the wreckage and carried it to Santa Barbara County, where it was loaded onto a trailer attached to Jacob's pickup truck. And Jacob drove the wreckage to the airport and unloaded it on a hangar, and then he cut up and destroyed the plane wreckage over the course of a few days and deposited the detached parts of the wreckage plane.
Why is this serial killery?
Right. Into trash bins at the airport elsewhere, which he admitted in his plea agreement was done with the intent to obstruct federal authorities from investigating the plane crash. So he admitted to planned on making money from the YouTube video, and he has, of course, already had his pilot's license revoked. Just a fun fact, he was on the U.S. snowboarding team in 2014.
I was going to ask you, what sport was it?
Yeah, and he competed in several Winter X Games where his best finish time was 5th place. And he faces up to 20 years in prison. All our Rachels of the week were Los Angeles based.
Oh, wow, you're right. City of Angels, baby. Okay, so did anyone get hurt?
No, he knew where he was going to dump it. Like, he planned all this out.
So embarrassing for him.
It's very embarrassing.
Like,
and the fact that, like, in the video, he already has on his parachute.
That's, like, so embarrassing. Yeah. Like, this is mortifying.
That you filmed this.
I love the fact that he wanted to do this, but, like, well, I need to be smart and safe about it. Like, this is...
If you want to be smart, what you do is, in the video, when you reportedly have problems, you pick up the parachute and put it on in the video. You're not already sitting there with it on.
I didn't realize that this is that illegal. And I know it's because it's like the risk of safety. Like, if you didn't hurt anyone, but you could have, and this could have been a huge ordeal. And then there's all of those specific things with like having your pilot, like having a pilot's license is different than having like a car license because you have to report things to all of that other stuff.
So he never reported.
That's what I mean. So I'm like,
he let it wreck, and then he lied, and then he's also getting like some of the charges are because he's obstructing justice.
Well, so I mean,
lying.
For a lot of other things, you could fake something for a video, and there's no specific group of like, there's no organization that is in plane crashes. Like, people, they have to look at the manufacturers.
Yeah.
Like, there's all of those kinds of things. Like, if you crash your car for a video into your house that you own into a wall, like on your own property, the city might have something to say if there's like a technicality, but like no one really gives a shit. But
it's also in national forest. Yeah.
Like, there's the sky there, there's all of these other things here. So I'm just like, sure, you have to go through the effort of getting a pilot's license. Like, that what you're doing is illegal. Like, this is like tax evasion. Like, you have to lie then to those people. It's not just about getting caught.
Yeah.
Because you filmed it.
And I'm also like, what did the people that you hired with the helicopter, like, what did they think you were doing?
Yeah. Have you
you went in, how much money did he spend on all this?
Has he ever thought about being an office coordinator? Like, the people who buy all of the snacks and like make all of the calendars. Like, he seems to be very diligent and lots of planning.
No, because that's not going to get him views.
I watch a lot of those people doing those on TikTok, and I'm like,
okay.
This looks like he would be a very good PTA member.
But he needs the thrill of it. He's like, I can't get the thrill from snowboarding anymore.
So much of a thrill. I still have to wear my parachute the whole time. Like, you know what? David Dobrik is seeing this, and he's going like, I've got an idea. And he's just stroking his cat, like look, fucking evil, his eyes glowing.
And I'm like, you could have glided the plane in. I think people would have been more into the excitement of that, of you, like,
real life Sully.
Yeah.
My plane was going down,
Sully
and
was real life. It wasn't just Tom Hanks in a movie. Sully was real life.
You're right. I know, my bad. But like, I'm the YouTube Sully. Like, oh, like you like a close call sort of thing, but like, look at my skills. Like, this to me was just, this is like not very good acting in all of this, like 20 years, like holy shit, bro. Do you know that that's what you could face? Because he didn't hurt anyone. Like he did in a way, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like he left a bunch of damage and like wreckage and like he like did all of this other shit, but it's like, no, point blank, even if you did this in a way that wasn't a nuisance or harmful to other people, there's a part of that's just pure chance and luck. And like, there was a risk, but then also like, even through all of that, and I'm sorry, I'm just going to say it. If you're facing 20 years in prison for 4.1 million views, that's not good. Like,
which was a year ago.
If you're going to really risk prison for content, I expect something better.
The top comment on YouTube says, "This was epic. Please try again after 20 years."
My video of putting tape on Dylan O'Brien's face has more views than that. And I'm not going to jail.
Yeah.
That was a sponsored video. That was in part, well, I don't know if it's technically sponsored, but that's it. I tried on my bikinis 8 years ago.
Well, you were also naked in that video.
I peeled dead skin off of my feet.
I hate that.
Sir, have you thought about being a beauty guru? I just have to tell you. Like, or what about those rage baiting videos of people who like make sexual fetish videos of like food where it's like, oh, you're going to like blah, blah, blah. And you're like, oh, like, why is this person making like, why are you putting a raw egg into popcorn and then just taking it out at the end? Like, that makes no sense. Sir, there are other ways.
I don't know who Charlie is, so forgive me if they're problematic, but somebody said, "I love that Charlie made more views talking about this video than Jacob did by crashing the plane and getting 20 years.
Yeah, I'm shocked.
And even a year ago when this was posted, someone said, "If this wasn't staged, you're a bad pilot. If this was staged, you're possibly a criminal." So like somebody that's a pilot, like looking at this automatically knows.
Well, that's what I mean. I'm like, I don't know that this is illegal, but like, I also don't have my pilot's license. And like, that's not something you fucking get like half-assed paying attention. Like, that's something that like some people, like you have to clock in not only like hours, but like studying, like it's a hard feat to get. And like, you know, the laws and you know, you know, those things. So you knew all of that. If I did this, I would be like, oh shit. Yeah. You're an idiot. You know what I mean? Because you didn't, but I didn't even know this was illegal, but you know who did? You.
Yep.
And you did it.
All right. Well, that's it.
That is it for our episode. We hope you all enjoyed. Again, please vote. Head on over to our Instagram. They'll be in the stories there. Sometimes if you like watch the stories through one time, or I don't know, you skip back and forth, or sometimes things just kind of
all
get
the
on
time
the fritz.
for me.
Yeah, for me now it's like that. Even when I watch my own story, as someone who is my own biggest fan and I watch my own story all the time, they will suddenly one or two will disappear, or we won't be in order. It'll be kind of confusing. So at the same time that I upload them onto our story, I also put them in the highlights at the exact same time. So if you are not familiar with the format of the show, or you are familiar and you're like, oh, I can definitely tell one's missing, the numbers aren't adding up, just vote there and view it from the stories. They're only up for 24 hours and they will be up tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday.
We've got a comment from Spotify, and this is in regards to our But Am I Watching? The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. "I love you two geeking out on film and TV industry and these things. It's so interesting seeing these shows through that lens. I hope you continue these."
Well, I hope you liked my rant on method acting.
Yeah. I want to do Little Mermaids. I say it with an S because there's two.
I mean, I'll watch the old one too.
Okay.
I'm fine with that.
Cool.
So if there's any things that you want us to talk about on this, like you want us to, you want to nominate someone for Rachel of the Week, or you have a hot take or a rant or anything that you're like, would love to hear take on this, or suggestions, we welcome them, whether that's...
I do have something to say on that. If it's something that needs a content warning on it, please do not tag me.
If you're going to tag me on something, us on something on TikTok, please content warning, or I would prefer in those instances, send the video in a message with what you're like, this something going along here.
I prefer hee-hee ha-has. I prefer the laughing ones.
I prefer a hee-hee ha-ha. I have been a couple where people have tagged me in something where it's like, I'm like waiting for like the punchline, and it's like something about like trauma, and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Fuck off. Like, okay, that's like not... we only tag in hee-hee ha-has.
Mm-hmm.
So please do that. And, it can be anything as like, it doesn't have to be something that feels like very topical to this specific show, because if you want our thoughts on something, we can also talk about it on A Fisting Friday or ACU next Tuesday. I found out one of the guys from Vanderpump Rules, he's like a DJ, and his event is Tuesdays called See You Next Tuesday. And he has a song that involves the Vanderpump Rules like theme song. And then he does something with like pull up your pumptinis, bitch, because they have like a Vanderpump martini. He's a character. Anyways.
Okay. Well, thank you all for listening, and we will circle back.
Goodbye. But Am I Wrong is a production by me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melisa DeMonts, plus Diamond Imprint Productions.
Post-production by Coco Lorenz.
And production assistance by Melanie D. Watson.
What's up, everyone? It's Noah Daniels.
Hey, y'all. I'm JJ.
Hey, guys. It's Kat.
And we're your hosts of the Real Hauntings podcast, where we bring on guests to share their first-hand encounter ghost stories and supernatural experiences. Now on to the trailer.
I've been warned to not tell this story, but I think because of the way it ends, it's okay to tell this story, because some people say that with certain entities, to like speak of them or talk about them or in any way like portray them as powerful will attract them to other people. The creepiest thing about it to me is a lot of times it would wait for me to notice it. Like it would just lay its arm out like this, and then I'd be like, where is it? Where is it? And then I'd see it, and then it would just slither back.
For more information on the Real Hauntings, Real Ghost Stories podcast, make sure you check out real.fm to learn more about our podcast and many other amazing podcasts.
Contained herein are the heresies of Radolf Buntwine, erstwhile monk turned traveling medical investigator. Join me as I study the secrets of the divine plagues and uncover the blasphemous truth that ours is not a loving God, and we are not its favored children. The heresies of Radolf Buntwine, wherever podcasts are available.